As you guys know, I'm back inside of Rise of Kingdoms, and this time I'm taking a free-to-play approach. And today I'm here with Chiscool, and we're going to be talking about what is the one legendary commander that I should choose to roll with in the future. What is up, my friends? My name is Echo, and like I said, we are choosing a legendary commander for my future today in Rise of Kingdoms, and I'm with Chiscool. What's going on, homie? How you doing, man?
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me to talk about commanders.
Yeah, I'm always excited to have Chiscool on the channel. This is probably like the 10th video that we've been on together, which is, it's just always fun to have you, and you know so much about this game. You're really my go-to for knowledge and decisions that I'm making in the game, and the importance of this decision, I think, is pretty big because I'm going in free to play. I'm not going to put any money into this account, so I'm not going to have the ability to get a ton of legendary commanders upgraded. I need to choose one, maybe two. I mean, we're going to be rolling with Ethelflad, but she's the free-to-play legendary commander, so that's pretty easy stuff. But I need to choose my one commander, and today you're going to be here with everyone else that's watching this video to help me choose or help me have the knowledge to make the decision for myself. Before we get into any of that, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring the bell because we're bringing Rise of Kingdoms videos back on the channel. But not only that, check out Chiscool. The man is endgame Rise of Kingdoms. His channel is amazing and exploding. Check him out. I'll be linking him down in the description of this video. So Chiscool, I am going to stop talking and I'm going to give this to you, and you're going to let me know some of the information that you have regarding what commander should I be looking at when I'm talking about legendaries.
All right, so I'm psyched for your restart account where you're jumping, you're doing all this fun stuff, powering up, and free to play is fun, but you need to choose really wisely where you make your investments. Now, there's two sorts of approaches that you can take to this. One is to say, I'm going to go all in on one legendary, and I'm going to try to get the expertise skill. And it's going to take a while because it's going to take you a full 700 sculptures to max every single skill on that commander. Or you go the route of saying, you know what, I'm going to max just like the first two skills. It's not even half the number of sculptures to do that. And I'm going to do that on a couple legendaries, which is a different approach that is also valid. And there's pros and cons to both of those. The very best commanders that you should be considering are going to be YSG, the archer commander, who when you expertise him has a circle area of effect, does huge damage, and is transformative in that there's no other commander that can do damage to that area of effect.
Okay.
Or Richard I, who is the single best healer in the game, bar none. And healing is so powerful that even in the end game, they keep releasing commanders to try to deal with healing.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chiscool, I don't have either of those commanders on my initial account that I made. I never got either one. And there's one commander that I always wanted in this game, and it was always Richard I. And I don't know why, maybe because his axe is massive, but I've always wanted to have him. So you were mentioning that YSG, I need to get that final skill. So I need to invest the 700 sculptures. So if I'm not choosing that route, would he be something that was worthwhile if I only went and got his second skill unlocked, or is that what we're going to be talking about next?
You know, that's the right question to ask. And my general guidance is that if you plan to expertise a commander, Isong is the pick. That circle area of effect is totally transformative. It lets you do some really cool stuff where you battle one barbarian and then Isong does his AoE damage. Anything in a circle around you he hits, boom, it'll start attacking you. You don't have to spend any action points.
Right.
Free value. I like free value. But Richard I also is very powerful for a number of reasons. Okay. First, he's an infantry commander. Infantry counter cavalry, and cavalry will be really popular, especially in the early game and even into the mid game in Rise of Kingdoms, in part because a lot of people will go buy Minamoto, and you get a lot of march speed with cavalry. So it's nice to have a counter to that. That unique effect on Richard I with healing also is incredibly powerful and is valuable as a long-term investment for your account. Richard is a garrison commander, as is Isong, so both of them are good in that regard. But if you're interested in some of the endgame stuff, people are still using Richard I on accounts that are over 500 days old
Wow.
to defend stuff. Yeah, so Richard the First is really powerful in that way, but they're both good for different reasons. So my advice generally, however, is that Richard the First is a good bit more impactful with just the first couple skills maxed. Esong is not all that special. He does area of effect damage. He generates a little rage. And that's kind of about it, right? And that's cool, but you can get that other places. But the effect of Richard the First, you can't get that really anywhere else.
Okay, so from what you're telling me right now, I feel like you're telling me that I should be going for Richard. I mean, that's what it sounds like. Although I'm pretty sure that your favorite commander is YSG, correct?
My favorite commander is Esong. If you're all in on that expertise plan, it's what I would recommend. And I do generally prefer going all in on a smaller number of commanders. Here's why. I don't think it's an A+ plan for a free-to-play player to be running around trying to battle against players that have spent huge amounts of money on their account and have higher research and better commanders and all these expertise legendaries on the field at the same time. Like, you shouldn't be going toe-to-toe to that with them with, like, all of your epic marches, right? Like, if you're going to battle against a T5 player, you're probably just bringing your one march, you're with a big group, and you're going to want to have the most high-impact march you can possibly bring, rather than trying to bring a bunch of marches and having a really, really high hospital bill.
Yeah. Okay. So in that case, I would be going all in on YSG, correct?
Yeah, I think that would be a good choice. Now, you can go all in on Richard, but the expertise skill on Richard is not as transformative as the expertise skill is on Esong. So Richard is the kind of project that you can take part way, and a route that you could go if you're really interested in Richard is, you max the first 2 skills on him, and then you're swinging him around on the battlefield, have a really good time like that. And then you could start investing in Esong. And I think that would be a very reasonable approach as well, especially because of when these commanders are going to show up.
Yeah, I was just going to get into that, so you're right ahead of me, and let's talk about that.
So your Richard the First is going to show up on a Wheel of Fortune event about 30 days
into the birth of the kingdom, correct?
That's right. Not the birth of your account, but the birth of your kingdom.
And for everyone that's watching that hasn't watched this before, we are about, or not Chiscool, I'm about to be jumping with my jumper group to a brand new kingdom in about 2 days. So that means I'm going to have to wait 30 days before the wheel comes, and I'm going to invest heavy in that wheel to make sure I get Richard, if that's my choice, correct?
That's right. You're going to want to spend a bunch of gems on that wheel. You're getting those gems for free as a part of your jumper process. I know you've got some videos on how to go and get those.
Yeah, I have 10,000 right now, which isn't bad for 3 days into my account, right?
No, it's pretty good. Yeah. The nice thing about gems is they can't be stolen, but there is one really unfortunate way to lose your gems. If you accidentally press the instant button to do research or build something, don't do it, man.
I'm not that much of a noob, Chiscool. Come on, I haven't done that. I don't think. Maybe I have. I don't think so.
I was up so late one night with my baby, and I was like deliriously tired, and I accidentally pushed the instant button when I was saving up. I had literally over 100,000 gems saving up for Esong and that wheel on my own restart, where I went in and I created a new account and all that stuff, right? And it spent like 60,000 gems. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it spends them in the literal most inefficient way possible on the instant button. It's the worst. I was devastated.
It doesn't work out well for you. Well, that's a big rip right there. Okay, so now we talked about Richard. He comes in 30 days, but YSG, it takes 90 days. Is that correct? Or 70 days?
It's a solid 90 days before you show up.
So at that point, I'd be just collecting legendary sculptures, waiting 3 months before I even get him off the wheel, and then go all in with him if I decide to go in with that all-in commander. Now, would I still want to grab Richard from the wheel just to have him because it's my one shot at getting Richard?
Yes. Yeah. Slam dunk, unlock the commander. All right. That is my strong recommendation. You're going to have a couple of his wheels show up, so you don't have to do it on the first wheel. And you'll get more value since you're not maxing out every wheel, spinning to the first tier, which is 10 spins. Yeah. And that way you can get your unlock, maybe. But if not, you're getting 5 Richard the First sculptures every time you hit that 10 spot. So if you do this over the course of a couple wheels, you're guaranteed the unlock. It's far more efficient. Right. That's a pretty solid way to go.
Okay, that's a great tip. So no matter what the commander, any commander, if they come on that wheel, I want to get them because you never know when they could be viable in the game, correct?
Yeah, you don't know when they're going to come back, and there is an event called Card King that will show up much later. I'm talking like maybe 3/4 of a year to a year into the
Wow.
Kingdom's Age. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually, I take that back. It shows up sooner, but some of these really important commanders do not show up in the Card King
Mm-hmm.
until much, much later. So you'll have opportunity way later, but it's going to take a while before you can potentially go and get them again. So
Okay.
I would try to get them from the wheel. The value is much better on wheel than Card King anyways, but know that you're not completely out of luck if you don't unlock them the first time around.
All right. So there's always another opportunity, but way down the line. But try to unlock them if you can when the wheel comes. It's the most efficient way.
That's the way. And, on our own account, we decided to go all in on Esong.
Mm-hmm.
We did spend money on this restart project, although we've subsequently toned back that spending very, very substantially.
Mm-hmm.
And we went all in on expertising Esong, and we have our expertise Esong, which feels pretty sweet as a project to have completed. I'm not going to lie. We're, I think, 150 days in-ish when we accomplish that. So
Wow.
it is totally valid. And like defending my city, I've got Sun Tzu and Esong. And it's like, come at me.
So now my question is this. You have a new account that you created. You did spend money and it took you 150 days. If I chose Endgame YSG, how long would it take me as free to play to, like, a general idea? Would it take me a year to max him out?
I think you could do it faster than a year. And
Okay.
there's a couple things that will influence that very substantially.
Mm-hmm.
One is going to be the rate of spend of the alliance that you're in.
Right.
Because every time someone in your alliance buys one of those sweet gold chests, you've got a really solid chance at getting an upwards of 2,000 VIP points.
Mm-hmm.
And that can propel you up to VIP 13 pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then you're getting a couple legendary commander sculptures literally every single day,
Yeah.
which helps things along very substantially.
I assume
if
you're in one of those alliances?
I actually was at the very start
Mm-hmm.
of my account, but then kind of tapered off and folks went in different directions.
Okay.
I mean, they had a lot of fun in like the first couple weeks, just smashing everything. And then, went on to do some other stuff, which is totally understandable.
Got you.
So that can help out a whole heck of a lot. You can farm gems off the map, but the thing is that you really need the resources still.
Yeah.
It's very time consuming.
Yeah, I agree. All right, now I want to ask you another question. So basically, what this came down to is, if I want to like half upgrade commanders, Richard is the guy for me to go with, number one. First question I have is, what would be the other one that would be going with him? A YSG halfway done is not that strong, so who would be your choice?
So this is a really interesting topic that I think a lot of new players make a mistake on, which is that the commanders you can get from gold keys are good commanders, but the second you've expertised them, every single additional sculpture you get of them from gold key is completely wasted.
You can't do anything with them, right?
There's no major value that you can't get some other way, and that's an oversimplification. They really don't add a lot of value. So I try to avoid investment of my universal sculptures into those commanders that come from gold keys, because over time you will expertise them, and then every universal you put into that commander ultimately will be waste later down the road, except, like, look, you did get value from running around on the battlefield with them up to that point that you would have expertised them otherwise. So I think it's a better choice to not go all in with universals on gold key commanders that you're getting that way, because you can instead invest in commanders like Esong and Richard, where you can only get their sculptures pretty much from a wheel event or a card king, basically spending gems.
Right.
So that's a much stronger investment into your account.
That makes so much sense. This is why I love having you on the channel and love having you as a friend, because I never thought of that at all. Because let's do Cao Cao, for example. I could eventually, over time, he would be upgraded by his own sculptures. Why waste universals on him?
I have something like 400 sculptures of Cao Cao beyond the expertise scale right now.
And you didn't use any universals on him?
I did.
You did, okay. So, but now you have all these wasted sculptures.
Complete
So you
waste.
could do
And
nothing
boy, would
with.
I love to have the universals. Now, I got a lot of value by having Cao Cao early on. One of the best barbarian
Right.
hunting commanders in the game, along with Minamoto. Slam dunk choices. But, oh man, I've
Yeah.
got so many. I have over 1,000 legendary commander sculptures, maybe 1,500
Wow.
of commanders you can get from gold keys that, like, they're already expertise, complete waste.
All right. So you answered my second question pretty much. I was going to basically say, what about in my old account? I went all in on Cao Cao, and I really wanted to go heavy on Caesar, and I upgraded him pretty close. I think I did unlock his expertise. Those I can get both of those from golden chests. So I shouldn't be doing that. I should upgrade them organically as I get those sculptures and don't use any of the universals on them.
That's right. And if you
Wow.
were spending, you also could get them from the daily special off, which is just yet another way that those commanders were obtainable. Like,
in another way.
yeah. Whereas Esong and Richard, like the only way. So not only are those two of the very best legendaries, especially in the early game in Rise of Kingdoms, but you aren't going to have competing ways of getting those sculptures. So when you make those investments, they're high value because there aren't other ways to go get them.
So there are, I know this is getting long now. We're having a long discussion, but anyone that's here this far in the video, first of all, hashtag made it down below in the comments. You guys are an OG making it, I don't know, 15 minutes into the video, but the knowledge here, I'm really enjoying this conversation. So we have YSG, we have Richard. What are other commanders that you could only get from the wheel? I assume they're not even viable compared to them. I mean, there's a bunch, right?
So there are a lot of really good wheel commanders. One of the more strong wheel commanders is going to be Alexander the Great. Now, this is going to happen a good bit further along in your kingdom's age. And the thing that makes Alexander the Great so powerful is that he offers shielding to your allies, and he reduces the effectiveness of healing. He actually is a counter to Richard I, which is very significant. He's going to show up about 200 days in.
It's telling me here, it actually shows me, I click on him, it says 120 days after it's been opened or something like that.
That's right. So 120 days is the youngest that the kingdom can be.
Yeah.
Where someone can still use their Alexander the Great. So what the game is doing is protecting players from someone who has an account like mine, migrating to a really young kingdom and just dominating with all these, top tier end game commanders. So they limit how early they actually are usable.
Okay, so I think, well, first of all, you packed a ton of useful information inside of this video. I think my go-to plan is going to be get myself Richard from the wheel, probably get him up as high as I can. 3 months later, or actually at that point it's going to be 2 months later, I'll pick up YSG from the wheel. I'll see where I sit with sculptures, see how I've been enjoying the game and how I want to play, and I'll make the decision there if I want to just halt Richard and continue with YSG, getting him to max. In the meantime, all of my other commanders that are legendary that I'm picking up from just golden chests and from sculptures, I'll just keep progressing them naturally and organically without using any universals, and I'll use the ones that are stronger along the way just because they happen to be stronger along the way.
That would be my recommendation. And one other thing I'll add about Richard is that he's usable as a 5-1-1-1. So max the first skill and take all the other skills just to 1. And you could start using him on the battlefield. If you had the patience to max the first 2 skills first, though, they are the most important skills that Richard I has. And you'll notice as you look at his skills that the sort of increase in effectiveness at the higher tiers. And I'm looking at that now on my own screen as well. So going from on that second skill called Chivalry, if you go, from level 1 to level 2, you're getting 2% extra damage reduction. But when you go from level 3 to level 4, you're getting 3% extra damage reduction. So that gets better and better. So if you can max those first 2, you do squeeze a bit more value out of it because the number of gold sculptures needed to add every additional skill is just going to go up and up and up. And this is a public service announcement that I feel obligated to make, but always max the first skill on your combat legendary commanders. The gathering commanders are a different story. The combat legendary commanders, like, max the first skill before you start them up. So many people end up with, like, you know, I've got like a 1-4-4-4 Cao Cao, and it's like, oh, this is a disaster.
Yeah,
this is a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, and especially in the beginning when this game came out a year and a half ago, I mean, there were a lot of noobs, myself included, that just made dumb moves like that, and you found yourself just taking time to fix all of those mistakes, which could take some time and or possibly never happen. But dude, this was so informative for me, and I know it's going to be informative for a whole bunch of other free-to-play players out there that are really trying to figure out what to do. I think you did a great job breaking it down in a way that someone that's new to the game can understand it. And well, that's why you're Chiscool, man. That's why you are killing it right now in Rise of Kingdoms. So, dude, thank you so much for coming through the channel today. I appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. If folks want to see more on my stuff, we do make daily Rise of Kingdoms content, and you should totally subscribe to Echo if you haven't already. This restart project he's doing is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I watch the videos. So.
Thanks, man. And to be honest with you, I am really enjoying it. We, Chiscool and I, on a little personal note, we were just talking a few days ago, and he mentioned this whole jumper group that he knew about, and it just all kind of fell together, and I've been having so much fun. So shout out to everybody in my jumper group that's been so supportive of what I'm doing. Thank you so much to Chiscool for kind of leading me in the right direction and getting me, or making me able to come back to Rise of Kingdoms after taking 4 months off and really enjoy it, probably more than I did even in the past. I'm really investing a lot more into long-term stuff here. I don't know, I'm just enjoying it, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm going to be linking Chiscool's channel in the description of this video and probably in a card at the end as well. So make sure you check him out if you haven't already, although you probably all have. But that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, Chiscool, thank you so much, man. And guys, I'll see all you back here later on today with another video. Until then, be good.